Dear traders, hello to everyone. I'm recording this segment now at the end of the trading session. In this video, I made 3 trades. The first one closed with a profit, the second closed with a loss due to the news, and the third closed with a profit. So for this trading session, I made about $160. I recommend you watch this video. In it, I worked with the bot and showed which points you should pay attention to. So the bot serves as a hint, as a way for us to double check ourselves. And I did the analysis in very simple language, moving from simple to more complex topics. But even when I talked about complex things, I tried to explain them in simple terms. So, have an enjoyable and useful viewing experience. I show every one of my trading sessions. Sometimes there are good trading sessions. In some of them I took 5 wins cleanly and left, but sometimes there are difficult trading sessions. Pay attention to the news. But I talked about this in the video and showed with a real example how news can ruin your trading. Therefore, to avoid getting into a situation where you could lose money, learn from my mistakes. The bot I use on Telegram is free. I won't keep you any longer. Enjoy the video and find it useful. Dear friends, hello to everyone. I urgently started a screen recording, and now I want to show you my evening trading session. Right now it's 1950 Moscow time. I want to do this session together with Dear traders, hello to everyone. I've just started a screen recording and connected the microphone. It's 1950 Moscow time right now. Thank you very much for your feedback when we trade based on forecasts. It's a real pleasure working with you. Today we also traded very well. And now I will conduct my trading session together with you. I will be using the bot that we work with together. I will be doing a full explanation and a thorough analysis. So look, the currency pair is Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. We chose it because the payout percentage is good, 87%. And now I am ready to open a 3-minute trade for a decrease. Let's go. As usual, I will conduct the analysis from simple to complex. But even when I talk about complex things, I will try to explain them in simple terms. What do we see when we look at this currency pair? We see that there was a strong upward movement. When there are such strong movements up or down, I try not to trade. But since the movement has already happened and the market has more or less settled down now, I can conduct a trading session on this currency pair. Especially for 3 minutes, I opened a $100 trade for a decrease. If the trade goes through cleanly, we will get $87. Also, look, the program I use to draw, many people have asked, is called Screenshot or Lightshot. It is freely available and free of charge. Download it, it's convenient to use for analysis. Also, I haven't mentioned this tab yet. Let me give you a heads up. In 8 minutes, there will be news about the dollar. And when news comes out, for example, we might have predicted that the chart would go down, but because of the news, it suddenly goes up. With such a strong candle, or rather, a combination of candles moving upward. So keep this in mind. Just remember this information. We have 2 levels. The first level and the second level. So as not to get confused, about them like this. I'll mark them and let's see how the chart interacted with the upper level. Once, test 20, 102, the maximum was built on it. This is the kind of level from previous history. Of course, you can look at how the chart interacted with this level. Now let's look at the lower level. It interacted once, minimum, pullback, twice, minimum pullback, 3 times, minimum pullback, 4 times, minimum pullback, and the 5th touch. There's a slight pullback, and I believe there will be a breakout. Actually, on the 4th touch on this one, there should have been a breakout, but it didn't happen. Let me give you a brief introduction as well about how the 4-touch rule works for us in general. By the way, in previous history, the chart interacted with this level. Here it is, there's the level, like this. First, a minimum formed, then a pullback. Second, a minimum formed. Third, a minimum formed. Fourth, here there was even a 5th, and on the 6th touch, a breakout occurred. But it's rare for a breakout to happen on the 6th touch. Usually the chart doesn't hold more than 4 touches. Let me also highlight such trades for you. Here's a homework assignment for you. Try to find such levels. And there are a lot of them. Now, as our trade is about to close, 7 seconds left. So that you can look for them, here comes the breakout, so that you can look for such levels. We take the profit, $87, which you can get from breakouts after 3 to 4 touches and so on. Usually if you have 3 touches, that is usually there are 3 pullbacks. And then on the fourth touch, there is a breakout. I search and can barely find it with this particular currency pair. There are some currency pairs that are full of such moments and others that just don't provide these opportunities. Once minimum, twice minimum, 3 times minimum, and the fourth touch is the breakout. This is how this pattern works. This is what I mean when I talk about something simple, you know. The same thing once, twice, 3 times. The fourth touch is the breakout, so it's very important to look at the previous history. With this currency pair, we took a profit and opened a position on the breakout of the white level. And I believe that the breakout is about to happen now. So we can see a trend here. You know how I made a mistake here? I counted it wrong. I counted this as a touch at the level. If someone noticed that right away, that's great. Once a low, twice a low, 3, 4. The fourth touch, a slight pullback, and then a breakout. There's no touch at the level here. I'm a bit tired already, you see. My eyes get weary in the evening. Made a small mistake. But in any case, 1 touch more, 1 touch less. The main thing is that after the first 3 touches, there's already a pullback, and then comes the breakout. But whether there will be a breakout or not, I ask in our bot. That is, if I understand that I want to go short, and I know why I want to do it, and I understand the trend, that there will be a breakout here and so on, then I need confirmation. Here I opened the news. Very strong news about the dollar will be released in 4 minutes. And this news will affect all the remaining currency pairs, unfortunately. And sometimes it happens that I want to open a short trade, I open a short, but because news comes out, the chart completely reverses. That's why it's very important to watch and monitor the news. I opened this currency pair on the M1 time frame. And what do we see here? What indicators do I have? What confirms that it's really worth going short? First, for those who don't know how to mark levels, here is how you highlight them. Here is the level. I clone it to one side and to the other side. All these touches right here, 1, 2, 3, the fourth touch. This is the first signal that it's worth going down to open a short position, the first confirmation. So this level is also present. The second point, when I mark the level like this, I look at this indicator. 55% or more precisely, the majority is for a decline. 45% for an upward move. This is confirmation that it's worth going down. That's already 2 confirmations. The third confirmation, the future movement of the chart, as you can see, is going down. This is also a very good indicator, a very good signal that suggests there will be a decline. That's already 3 confirmations. The fourth confirmation, this is an indicator that shows overbought conditions, and when that happens, the chart moves into oversold territory. Then it goes back into overbought territory again. Then it moves back into oversold territory again. When it enters oversold territory, there should be a crossover like this in the oversold area, like this. But it's not here, you see? This means it's going to go even lower, continuing downward. The fourth touch downward. The fourth touch, the fourth confirmation for a downward move. You see, I'm already getting tired. That's a very good signal that it's time to stop. And here's some advice for you as well. If you notice any fatigue, or even if you just thought about it a little, even if you don't actually feel it. We're not unloading sacks here, but there's a very strong emotional intensity involved. And attention is very much engaged with the chart, with the analysis and so on. And sometimes it happens that we get tired without even realizing it. We keep trading, our attention isn't enough, and we start taking losses, drawing the wrong conclusions, and making mistakes. That's why it's very important. Trade a little, get 3 wins, 5 wins, and then end your trading session. A step-down ladder. Fast candles, these are vertical volumes, indicate that there should be a decline here. 5 signals down. This ladder I'm explaining this in very simple terms. Trader's course, open it. And here are the vertical volumes. The same thing. I explained it in simple terms. Accessible, understandable, so that everyone can get it. So, what did we have here? 5 confirmations for a decline. The news will probably come out in about a minute, right? We can take a look if there's an impulse on this currency pair. We'll see. So here I thought there would be a decline, a breakout of the level. We entered and opened a position. At the very least, the chart reached the level, and at the very least, we took it. Plus, that's very good. So in the long run, if you see a level and you understand that this level will be broken after numerous tests, and you see, for example, that the chart is dropping down to this level, you can open a trade for a decline towards this level. Let's analyze something else. Right now, I'll wait for the news to come out, and I'll be working and looking at those currency pairs that won't be affected by volatility and the news background. Specifically, those that won't have these sharp movements either up or down. The news has just come out, it's been 0 minutes, and I'll also be analyzing and watching the currency pairs so that we can take profit here with you. Let's watch, monitor, and see if anything interesting comes up. Let's find the EUR-USD currency pair. Technically, the news just came out for the dollar. It should be experiencing strong swings right now, and sometimes even though the news is out, the effect, the volatility, shows up 5 or 10 minutes later, so you need to keep an eye on that as well. As you can see in this pair, US dollar and Canadian dollar, there's a very strong upward movement, a sharp rise. I try not to trade such volatile pairs, especially this one. And here the US dollar and Swiss franc, you can see there's also a strong upward movement. I also try not to work with such currency pairs that are heavily influenced by news events. There, the breakout has started. This is the currency pair that we analyzed. Here's another tip for you. If there are less than 15 minutes left before the news, corrections may occur. What does a correction mean? For example, we should have seen a breakout here, and it did happen. We did everything right, everything correctly, but it happened after a correction. That is, there was a downward movement. Here's the correction. It's as if the chart was waiting for something and only then moved down. When there is news, the concentration of these corrections is very high. So keep that in mind as well. Some people use hedges while others wait until the end. Well, I've looked at all the currency pairs. I wouldn't say that any of them really stood out to me, except for this one. Now the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen, I'm urgently requesting to start. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, M1 time frame. Here's another piece of advice for you. You need to be confident in the currency pair. You shouldn't just open a trade anywhere anyhow. The market won't close tomorrow, it will only close for the weekend. Basically, it won't close, and opening trades just anywhere is very bad. Here, I want to open a trade downwards and I'm looking for confirmation. 1 confirmation, 2 confirmations, 3 confirmations. So there are 3 confirmations that I can open a short trade here. But you know what bothers me? Our chart touches this level once, twice, 3 times. Here we need to wait for a pullback and then open a short position. And up to what point will the pullback go? Let's try to predict it. Here is one level and here is a second level. I marked these levels based on these pauses and this pause here. If we get a correction now, we'll see how the chart interacts with this level. So if there is, a move up like this, a correction, then we'll open a short position. And if the price starts moving down, we'll open a short position on the breakout from this Kurbe reservoir level. But if there's a touch here, a small pullback, and the chart goes up to the top, then from the upper level we can open a short position. After all, it's very important when we mark out zones and levels ourselves to pay attention to how the chart interacts with these zones and levels. For myself, I'll mark out one zone here and above it a second zone. Here they are, 2 zones. I'll watch how the chart interacts with this zone. If the price does break through this zone, then we'll take a trade from the next zone. You need to wait, watch, don't rush. Ideally, this zone here, of course, is the minimum. Movement down, a correction downward. The correction is already expected, not downward, but according to the short-term downtrend, the horizontal level is 1, at most 2, at most in theory. The third touch, in most cases, is a pullback. So I would wait for this entry point, here it is, the entry point, and open a position downward. Here, I probably won't even wait to see how the price behaves, whether there will be growth or a decline, because I think that since this is the third touch, and since it's lower, there's a level that the chart has been constantly testing. I think that based on these signs, the movement won't go upward, but will go straight down. But as they say, you have to watch and see. So I opened a trade, and here there's a false breakout happening, but there were false breakouts here as well. So basically, it doesn't really mean anything special. Let's watch. It could be that the chart is moving now toward the next level. By the way, there's another level right here. I can set this level based on the previous high. Maybe it will reach it and then immediately drop down. We can open a new trade but the trade amount will be doubled to 2.5 times from this level in the same downward direction. So instead of $100, it's $250. $250 will bring a profit that will cover this loss if it doesn't go through, and will even put you in the black. Oh, look at this, the impact of the news. So here I was predicting a downward movement because with you I saw a trend for a breakout, but now the chart is shooting way up, most likely up to the level I indicated. It doesn't even see it, as you can see. That happens, and that's normal. And when you trade during news events, if you ignore the rule that you shouldn't trade during the news, this is what will happen to you. So that was the analysis for this currency pair. I thought it would go down. Let's also switch to the bot. And let's see what we have with the bot. With the bot, the signal here isn't exactly strong, but there's a 56% signal for a downward move. The future movement of the chart, it showed a correction, but ultimately the movement will go down. That's also a signal for a downward move. There was a strong level here higher up. By the way, the chart, it's heading towards it now. If the histograms are wide, it means there's a strong level there. And down here, there's no level at all. The histograms are very narrow, so if there's a level here, the chart will easily break through it. That's already 3 confirmations for a downward move. Oversold a test, and the chart is entering oversold again. It's like what happened here, for example, like this. It went down and only then did it go up. And since I don't have a crossover here yet, I count this as a signal for a downward move. Here's a signal upward. Looking at the 5 different signals available, we can see that 4 of them clearly indicate a downward move. But you see, what actually occurred was nothing more than a sudden and very sharp upward impulse. 3 seconds left. I won't have time to take out insurance here. And I don't want to take out insurance on this currency pair anymore because there's a very strong downward movement. You see how the chart is jumping up and down. And I didn't get the breakout I was planning right away. What do I do in such cases? Multiply by 2.5. I'm not closing this currency pair. I'll leave it here so I can come back to it and check later. But when, after the news comes out, the chart starts moving like this, with strong movements up and down, it's better not to trade on it, because it will be as unpredictable as possible. Here too, you see, the euro-dollar, strong movement up, strong movement down. That's how news affects the market. Here as well, and soon you'll see this kind of picture on almost every currency pair. You see here, there's a strong movement up and down here too, and so on. But our task is to find a currency pair that's more or less reasonable. And on it, carefully conduct tests, analysis, and ask the bot. But right now, almost every currency pair is experiencing strong movements up and down. But there's just one moment. Let's take a look at it. I'm highlighting the zone. Here, surprisingly, there aren't any strong movements. Currency pair, British pound, Swiss francs. So for this currency pair, GBP CHF in Russian. For this currency pair, I would open a trade, you go up. Right here, I would open on the pullback. But from the blue level, that's the level where I would open a trade upwards. But let's see how it goes and what the bot says. I'm switching to the bot, waiting for it to give me analytics, to give me an analysis of this currency pair. But here, from the signals, let me do this in front of you. I'll check. Signal up as the chart moves, signal down. Signal down, signal down. Here, there's more of a signal for a downward move. But I actually wanted to go up. And since my analysis doesn't match the bot's analysis, I'd rather not enter the trade, especially since I have an insurance trade that I need to close, a clear profit. So let's look for something else, see what we can find. Something more certain, 100% confident. In general, I always strive to make sure that my own trading session, my personal trading strategy, matches the bot's indicators. That is, if I understand that here it should be, for example, a downward move, or on the contrary, an upward move, then the bot should indicate the same. A signal to go up. If that doesn't happen, for example, if there are no such moments, but I want to go up and the bot says down, I try not to analyze such currency pairs. So, look, I've highlighted 2 main levels, but I want to add one more. I'll add one more. It will be this level right here, marked like this. The currency pair is British pound, Canadian dollar. What do I think here? And I'm thinking, how will it go here? the upper level of the chart. Once, twice. So it only leaves tests twice in total. The lower level, once, twice. Also, the third touch will be a pullback. And now, ideally, the chart is stuck between the first and second levels in the middle. Can I mark a level here? I can, but I think it's insignificant. And the chart can go right through it. Ideally, levels attract the price. It will either go to the upper zone or to the lower zone. When it reaches this zone, like it just did, then you can start watching. I think there will be a pullback here. GBP, CHF, British pound to Swiss franc. Let's select the M1 time frame, but it also reached the level too sharply with a strong impulse. So you need to be careful here as well. That is, here I would open a trade for an upward move, for a pullback, because this is the third touch. But the bot might tell me the opposite. Here it should go down. Here the signal is up. With the chart moving upward, it's a bit unclear here, but the signal is up. The bot is now showing in unison that you should enter upward here. Currency pair British pound Canadian dollar opened upward. Net profit, gross profit, net profit will be $187. From that I subtract, if of course the trade doesn't go through, I subtract the $100 that didn't go through. Remember the previous trade? And with $187, I'll come out ahead. If of course the percentage had been higher, the profit would have been greater, but still, think about it. I'm making up for the loss I took according to my trading system. And I'm still coming out ahead. I'm still making money on this. That's really cool. But to achieve this, you need a good assistant in the form of a bot. Maybe you'll have your own, some kind of indicator and so on. And your trading system needs to be perfected to an ideal state. So please practice on a demo account. Once at a minimum, twice at a minimum, 3 times at a minimum. This is usually a pullback for us. I'd like you to note that here we don't just have a minimum. It formed in the same zone where the previous one appeared. Here there was a false breakout. See, here it is, the false breakout. And after a false breakout, we usually wait for 3 more tests, and then there will be another pullback. Just like that. For this reason, I believe that this is a false breakout happening here. And there will be a pullback. Great, that's what I think. But we need to double check ourselves. I double check myself using the bot. What does the bot tell me? What kind of scenario does it give? Here we have 74% for an upward move, 26% for a downward move. So the signal here is upward. Excellent. The future movement of the chart shows that it will go up. Excellent. Here, as you can see, the histograms are not wide. Yes, there is a level here opposite these histograms, but it's a weak one. The chart passes through it, no problem at all. And here, I believe it will pass through and only go up to this level. But here the histograms are very wide, which means there is a fairly strong level here. The bot basically highlights this level. Here it is in blue. I just extend it and remember it. If you have such wide histograms, then you have the first, second, and even a third and fourth touch. A touch means a pullback, but by the 5th or 6th touch, this volume won't hold. It won't give a pullback, it will break through. This is the third confirmation that you need to go up here. Here it's a bit unclear. It seems like a signal down, then up, down, up. I don't look at it. Vertical volume usually happens because of news. And you see the volume was usually about this size, but here it's very high. And here what do we have? Here it seems like we have overbought conditions, but the chart is moving higher. And here there is no crossover, so it could go even higher, become more overbought, and then go down. Just like it was here. It seemed overbought, there was a correction, then it went higher, and then even higher. Only after that did it go down. Here there is still room to go, room to grow. So what happens is, look, I closed the trade in profit, but I didn't have time to manage the pullback. It happened. Bottom left corner. Here are the trades I made during this trading session, plus, minus, plus. And here I lost $100, but I made $187 on this one, so that's how it went. There was a good upward movement. And the pullback really did happen. We can observe it, we see it. I want to look at something else, but I've already explained all the nuances about the bot here. Out of the 5 indicators, 4 are supporting me. Subscribe to our Telegram channel. There I do polls like this, and besides that, I share tips, tricks, and sometimes just random things. There's also some live content, like trading while riding an elephant. please join us. This topic here is also very useful. Test yourself. I show a screenshot and ask where to open a forecast. And you analyze it and decide where you would open a position, down or up. Then you participate in the poll here. This is the survey. As you can see, I already voted for down. 50% voted for down, 48% for up. And 2% said they would skip it. Because some people are taking a break, and when a person is resting, their mind drifts off. That's normal. Traders need to rest. And when you take this kind of test, for example, whether you got it right or made a mistake below, I provide an explanation for each screenshot about the levels. I write out and describe level 1, 2, 3, and how they work. I show what I requested from the bot and demonstrate which signals I use to enter there. And this way you can double check yourself. So subscribe to the Telegram channel. The link will be in the video description or in the comments. Here's our bot. It really helps out thanks to it. Ross went after all. I'm getting really tired now. I actually wanted to trade a bit more ideally, but I probably won't make it. You see, there's a strong downward movement. It's happening. After this correction, the breakout of the level we predicted happened. But because of the news, it happened 10 minutes later. I wanted it earlier. Maybe I should go have some tea and then trade some more. I think that would be too much already. It's not worth it. The news just came out. This is the last moment, the last currency pair. I'm really sleepy. I'm really sleepy, but I realize it's Friday now. Yeah, for sure. I'm tired. It's the end of the week already. I need to make some kind of video and answer questions for tomorrow. So I guess we'll wrap it up here. Here's my advice to you. If you're getting tired, if you realize you no longer have the energy or desire to trade, take a break. That's really good advice. Take a break. So you trade a bit here, make some money, leave, make some money, leave. Odessia boss. I'm clicking start, currency pair lines, dollar, Swiss franc, time frame M1. Waiting. Let me highlight the zone that I liked just now. Let's take a look. Here it is. 2 touches. I honestly thought it would go way up there, but no, here it is. On the contrary, it is clearly signaling down here, and even further down here. And based on the current trading volume, it is also looking to drop down from the 5,000 level. Maybe I missed something there, 5 touches. It's signaling 4 times for a decline, but I wanted it to go up while the bot wanted it to go down. So there's no point in trading this. Let's wrap up. Take care of yourselves and have a great weekend. The bot is free from the SE. You can get it in our Telegram channel or in the bot's description. Take it for yourself. Have a great weekend once again. That's all. Hugs to everyone, wishing you profits. Goodbye everyone, dear friends.